And welcome back to another edition of the Wednesday afternoon. Hold on, I think my of course I didn't mute my stream, but that being said, back to
Alex
another
always
Wednesday.
screwing up.
Fuck yourself, okay? Wednesday edition of Twinbill, Wednesday afternoon edition. We usually do 12, but we're doing 1 p.m. today, which we'll explain in a second, of course, if you guys don't know already, and we'll explain our little bit of experience. I'm probably gonna go on a rant on some stupid idiot who runs Yanks Go Yard. I'm just gonna say that right now. Also, I blame Luca for last night's loss. I don't blame the offense. I don't blame Aaron Boone. I don't blame Clay Holmes. I blame Luca. And then we'll talk about some other stuff, but also keep engaged with the questions, like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification bell, share this out as well as we are live. Obviously, it helps, getting this out to more people. So we appreciate you guys. Also, 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts for all podcasts on our network. Luca, how are you doing, man? Shout out to Joseph, Sunil, Longhorn Shepherd, and anyone else in chat.
What is going on, everybody? Obviously, we called last night's game. The Blue Ovaltine's not doing it anymore. Rich, I will no longer be drinking Rich Chocolate Ovaltine live on air. Alex is giving me the middle finger with a back scratch, nonetheless. So we're going to get, once I'm done drinking the Ovaltine for breakfast, you know how I usually do it daily, I'm going to bring back the chocolate malt Ovaltine, which was the Good Luck Ovaltine. And that's that. So we had 2 straight losses with the Rich Chocolate Ovaltine. It is what it is. So unfortunately, we lost yesterday. We shouldn't have lost that game.
Yeah, Joe says, I blame Luca too. Can we sit him out tonight? Yeah, I mean, that's not a that's an option. That's an option. I think Adam King would serve as a great analyst, and I'm endorsing him to replace Luca tonight, Pete. So if you're out there, you already know what I think. But to start off, obviously, you guys, some of you guys, if not all you guys know, this morning was Tony Sirico's funeral mass, which we attended and we live streamed via multiple different platforms, of course. Not necessarily my YouTube, of course, but the Act on YouTube and the Basilica of Regina Patch's website, amongst other things. And we appreciate anyone who tuned in. I got a lot of viewers on there. Of course, it is our occupation. That's stuff we get paid for. But, we got a lot of viewers on there. I know there were some audio issues, but Father Sirico did a wonderful job presiding over his brother's funeral mass. A couple of Sopranos references.
Yeah.
I was surprised that more actors did not show up, but most of them came to wake last night. But at the end, we did get to meet a couple of people. I know Luca met more people than I did. But the one I take away most from is Lorraine Bracco. So for some of you who don't know, Luca's godmother is Lorraine Bracco's one of her, I think, first cousin or something like that. First cousin. So I went up to her and introduced myself. Very nice lady. Very nice, heartwarming at that. She asked me what I was doing in my career. So very nice. And I was honestly blown away to how, people friendly she is. I'm not saying she's a bitch, but she's very nice. I take away a lot from that. And she obviously did a good job with her acting roles. Obviously with Jennifer Melfi as in The Sopranos, and most notably Karen Hill in Goodfellas. I also met Steven Van Zandt. Very nice guy, very chill guy. So Luca.
Also met Matt Servito, who was Agent Harris on The Sopranos. He and I joked around a little bit. And then I also met Vito, Joseph Gianniscoli. So it was nice meeting those guys. Obviously, Lorraine Bracco was probably the nicest, and she was very heartwarming. Obviously, there was a lot of people swarming Steven Van Zandt, but again, he's still a nice guy. So yeah, it was fun meeting all those people.
I agree. Wow, we used the bird finger for a back scratcher. That's effective. Yes. Joe says 14 away from 9.1K already. Yeah, let's get that up. Let's get those likes up, everybody. Mr. Monotone, aka the curse, is the only reason to blame for last night. I don't believe so.
Yeah,
Vito, LOL, Johnny Cakes.
whenever Alex decides to call the games, he's be like, the 0-1 pitch, strike two.
Hey, you were monotone, not in this stream, not in the other stream, but the other stream before that. When
No,
you
I'm
call
saying
games.
announcing and calling the game.
I'm talking to you. I'm talking about you.
Which stream was that, Alex?
One of the other streams when you were calling the game.
You're not being specific enough.
I think it was a Pirates game when you took over for a little bit. You're being a little monotony. So don't be a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite.
I hope you knock over your fucking camera.
You know, you will knock over your camera before I do. Anyway, Joe says Vito, LOL, Johnny Cakes. Yes. Wampag says this team needs to have more of a killer instinct. I definitely agree with that. Joe says I've heard nothing but good things about Miss Bracco. Raw Tops is in the chat. What up, Raw?
What's going on, Raw?
Sunil also says we need Pete's loud as fuck raving voice on here to inject some energy up everybody's asses.
We need Silvio Dante to hype up the team as well.
Well, yeah. What? He's gonna go argue to the refs?
Yeah, he's gonna argue with the umpires.
Yeah.
We'll get him.
Yanks
Since we met him, we'll get him
last night. Yeah, well, because we have access to that totally. But with that being said, the Yankees lost last night 4-3. We were all on the call for the game. I think it's going to be the same crew tonight because Pete ain't feeling any better, but he's also not feeling any worse. So he's pretty much at a stationary stage. So it's likely going to be me, Joe, and Luca, and then we'll be in person tomorrow. So that's going to be interesting. Tommy's fam is going to get bullied by Joe, and Tommy fam, who knows, might pull a gun out and shoot Joe. At least that's Joe's expectation for the bullying because Joe's that guy.
Yeah.
But Luca, thoughts on yesterday's game overall?
Garrett Cole pitched pretty well. You're supposed to shut out the Reds. They're a very bottom of the tier team. We head to the ninth. We do the right thing. Aaron Boone does the right thing, calling on his closer Clay Holmes. Obviously, his control and his command are not there. He ends up not pitching to a single out. Obviously, I think the 2-run single it was a 2-run single. No, it was a 2-run single. I'm sorry, it was a 1-run single. Then was a hit batter, and then Aaron Boone took him out at the right time. Puts in Wandy. Wandy gets 2 outs, and then throws a pitch way outside. I think it was better hitting by Jonathan India to get the ball in the right center field. Scores 2 runs, and that's how we lose the game. But I gotta say, I also think we could have scored more than 3 runs against this guy Ashcraft.
Ass crack. I blame the offense all the way. Clay Holmes obviously wasn't himself. We know that. But with that being said, he ain't even supposed to be in that game. You're supposed to save him for the games against Boston where you could use him 1-2 days in a row if it's a close game, it's a 3-run game and shit like that. But against the Reds, you're supposed to be blowing these guys out. And they're saying, Judge wasn't in the lineup. Well, okay, if you want to blame somebody for not putting Judge in the lineup, blame the front office because it ain't Boone that makes the decisions. I think we've been over this before. Not that he hasn't made any questionable decisions this season, but even with Judge out, the Yankees still at some point have to perform without him. Let's just say he gets injured. Hopefully not. Knock on wood. Let's just say he gets injured in the second half of the season. They're fucked because if this is the performance that they're going to show without Aaron Judge and the guys they have in their lineup, they may not stand a chance. And once again, it's one game. I'm not going to overreact, but
we're not Michael
3 runs
Caputo
in the first four innings and then nothing the rest of the game. That doesn't fit. Against this guy, Ashcrack, whatever the fuck you want to call it, against a guy like that who's not very good. This ain't a very good Reds team. They shouldn't have beat us last night. We should be sweeping them. But on a positive note, Garrett Cole, yes, he pitched very well yesterday. I felt like Wandy was put in a bad situation, but at the same time, his pitch location to India wasn't very good. So
Like
that's pretty
who?
much what I
Like I
gotta
know
say.
people are going to say like, "Oh well, I don't like Wandy, this, and this." Who are you going to realistically put in that situation? Garnaccio's injured. You're not putting in Castro. You're not putting in Chapman. You're not putting in Lidge. Who you going to put in? Peralta. He's been very good this year.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like you can't even you have to go to your best guy in a 3-run situation. You have to go to your best guy. I don't know what Luca's looking down at, but
I was just checking my phone.
okay. But you have to put the best guy in the situation, and you need to rely. It's not like they put in Chapman. It's not like they put in Lidge or some of these other cats. It's not like they put in Britton, but they put in Clay Holmes expecting a good, solid
3-out
outing.
save.
He didn't have. He didn't have it. He did not have it, and you're gonna get that. But also, your offense should not be scoring only 3 runs. By the way, this isn't sweat. This is actually the shadow of the microphone.
Jed Weisberger tweets 13 hours ago. We saw this the other night. Wandy's not a closer.
Nobody said he was. Where are these people in these narratives? Wandy, nobody ever said Wandy was a closer. Who do you? Okay, smartass. Who do you want in that situation? Who? Who do you want in that situation that's not Clay Holmes? Luca, no, go on the Yankees roster. We're doing this. Go on the Yankees roster, and you're
Somebody says the
me.
L was on Boone in the comments, not our comments, but that comments of the tweet.
No, it wasn't on Boone. No, it wasn't.
Albert Abreu.
You're not going to him in that situation. Sorry.
Miguel Castro.
You're not going to him in that situation.
Aroldis Chapman.
You're not doing that. Nope.
Michael King already pitched. Lucas Lidge.
No.
Wandy Peralta. Obviously, he pitched.
Okay.
JP Sears.
You're not putting JP Sears in that much of a high leverage situation. Sorry, that's not happening. So is that it?
Yeah, that is it.
You're not putting anyone else in. Sorry, people. I've cursed Boone out for the last 4 fucking years. This ain't his fault. This ain't his fault. It was the offense. And you know what? If you want to sit here and lollygag about, oh, well, he should have put someone better in. And guess what? Tell Brian Cashman at the trade deadline, our pitchers in the bullpen are not good enough. Go out there and get some. Go out and get some Clay Holmes guy that nobody's ever heard of, but he's going to be the next freaking all-star. Okay? Shout outs to Rod Thompson for the $9.99 super chat. Whose performance on the Yankees are you more shocked by, Gleyber or Severino?
I'll say Severino. I expected to struggle a little bit coming off of the Tommy John surgery, but Gleyber Torres, I wanted him traded before the year. I said trade him for a guy like Montas or Sean Murphy as a catcher. Let Gleyber start on a rebuilding team. Maybe in a smaller market, he's better. But he's proved me wrong ever so nicely this year.
See, I could do the radio thing and the scripted thing and go with Gleyber. I don't know who to go to because Gleyber has surprised me. Even though LA Yankee King, said he was a Gold Glove second baseman, he's been that at second base. He's hit well too. Sevy, it's not like I expected Sevy to be an all-star or this great pitcher, but he's done really well this year coming off of the injury, coming off the surgery and everything else. I'm going to go with Gleyber. Not because Lucas said Severino, but I'm genuinely more surprised in the play of Gleyber Torres.
Yes.
That's the answer to that. Is that a big gray spot or this is a shadow? I think I'm gonna try to move this so it's like less of a shadow so that's better for content wise. Now it's on my face, but of course, I'm gonna fix the lighting a little bit. But to be fair, it's not on Boone to kind of fully settle it. It's not on Boone. Tell Brian Cashman to go get some people at the deadline. Okay.
There's only so many reliable relievers on this team. Somebody said, Boone should have pulled him after the 3 batters. But Wandy wasn't up yet.
Yeah, you can't expect them to get ready in 15 seconds. You just can't expect that.
And plus, you expect Clay Holmes to get those 3 outs. You
expect him to get at least 1 out.
Exactly. And you really don't warm up any relief pitcher after your closer. You expect him to get the 3 outs. You expect him not to struggle. Unfortunately, Holmes did that last night. That's what it is.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to stick with the shadow. Looks like a big fat ball, but anyway, so that's pretty much last night's game. It's not on Boone. Last night's loss is on everyone except Boone. Bro, Yankees suck. They only win it because if the success they had in the past and teams choke when they play them because of that and judges overrated. Who's your team, Dorian? I appreciate the support for you coming in here, but who's your team? I want to know who your team is. I might be expecting a Brad roast, not of me, but of Dorian here, because he seems like he's not very knowledgeable. He seems like he's draft neck Mark.
Pete says that might be one of the worst takes he's ever read.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand the take. I don't. Second guessing Boone last night is asinine. No, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. What was it say? Teams lose to the Yankees because they're past LMAO. What? I don't make that quote at all does not make any sense. I want to see if I missed anything, of course. Trade for Benintendi or Soto as a supplemental offensive threat and legit outfielder. Could the fit of this team, and I would differentiate from some people, but the team doesn't need another fucking power hitter. They don't need a power hitter right now. And Juan Soto's one of the best players in baseball right now. But they don't need another power bat. They need a contact bat, top of the lineup that could take them. A guy that can hit solid pitching. And Benintendi's been in the playoffs with the Red Sox, to my knowledge. And he's won he won the championship with them, right? In 2018.
Yes, and Soto also won a championship with the Nationals.
Right. That's again a good point to bring up. Whether you want to argue, Benintendi, the cheating and all that. I don't think anybody gives a shit about that. For the team needs, and you could always talk about great players, this and that.
They're also not going to give up the package. I'm sorry to interrupt, Alex. They're not going to give up the package for Soto. They're not.
No, I mean he's probably asking us, but I would just go with Benintendi. Brad says, "Hey Dorian, that's a complete load of shit." Paul, Ridgely. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your last name.
Yeah, Orioles fan.
My team Orioles are doing. I mean,
they're now in fourth place. Apparently, they have surpassed the Blue Jays. Let me check.
That's terrible. That's not true. 2 more games for the Orioles to win and the Jays to lose, and they'll be down there. But Charlie Montoyo, reflect on your thoughts on Charlie Montoyo being fired.
It's interesting because you have all these different things. You have Hingenru injured. You have some guys not playing to the potential like Vladdy Guerrero Jr. It's a very underperforming team. Like I said, they were going to be like top of the line division. I'll be honest, and they just have not been that. So I get underperforming, and being right next to the Orioles is going to get you fired.
Yeah, I mean that's not a place you want to reach, and we can understand the injuries and stuff like that, but you need to go out there and be the best as possible, because there's other teams in the league that have tons of injuries, and they're not as bad as the Blue Jays right now. Now the Blue Jays have an over 500 record, but I'm stupid here, and I know Brad's gonna laugh at me and say, "Look, you proved it again." I know I'm dumb here. I know I'm stupid here, but I predicted them to be in the World Series along with the San Diego Padres. That looks pretty stupid right now.
It does.
It looks pretty dumb right now.
Yeah, you were indeed stupid.
I think you're pretty stupid too, Luca. But that you got to manage the best of ability, and obviously he wasn't given the greatest situation with all the injuries and shit. But that people saying it's not on Montoyo. Who was it? John Heyman that said it was not on Montoyo?
Yeah, it was because of the bullpen. It was because of Bruce injuries. Because of underperforming players. Like
underperforming players. Who's that on? Besides the players, who is it on?
It's the manager who has to put them in the position to succeed.
Exactly. And guess what? Charlie Montoyo didn't do that. All these years with Charlie Montoyo, it's been, when are they going to get out of this rebuild? When are they going to be relevant again? And guess what? This year was the year to be in first place, second place. They were in second place for a little bit. But they dropped to third, dropped to fourth, maybe even fifth soon. So he deserved to get fired.
You think there's a chance they? I know it sounds ridiculous now. You think there's a chance they sell?
I don't think so. No. I think they're going to try to get a more experienced manager. I mean, I don't know who the manager is right now. Could be the bench coach. Could be Pete Walker, for all we know. But I don't think they'll sell. I think they bought too much into the goods that they'll just go ahead and get some pitching next year or wherever and make reinforcements. But I don't think that they're going to sell. X-Wing says the understated problem with this is not the pitching, but the offense. The offense absolutely dreadful. Runners in scoring position is the first part of the season. Offense is highly suspect though. Yeah, no, definitely agree there. That's good. That's been the thing the last few years. They can't hit with runners in scoring position. And obviously, is it the easiest thing in the world to do? No. But when you have runners on, you are expected to bring them home. And at times, the Yankees haven't been able to do that. I believe there were 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position last night.
Yes, they were.
And they just got to be better in terms of intelligence on the field because Gleyber Torres swinging at the first pitch into a double play last night was not very smart.
Yeah, it was stupid.
That's basically if I was to go on MLB The Show in the same exact situation and I want to go outside or something, or I have to go to the store or something, and I just want to get this game over with, I would hit into a double play. Now, would I actually want to tank my own stock in MLB The Show? No. But the point is that I don't know why he would swing at the first pitch and, take the first pitch because that guy was probably not even at 10 pitches. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, but hit it on the ground. And guess what? Over. Game over.
Yeah.
Wampeg says lineup is killer interesting. Matt Blake needs to go back to the lab and make something happen. Yeah, Brian Cashman has to give him the goods, though. That has to happen. So
we need other starters. So we'll see how that happens. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we need another starter. Reliever, I'm not too worried about. It's just outfield and starting pitching. But I'm gonna go ahead and ask a question I'll leave for later on, of course. More consistent hitting from this team is what is needed here. I definitely agree with that. Wampag
by the way, that comes with balance. That comes with lineup balance. When you're more consistent. Well, when you have a balanced lineup, you're easily more consistent.
Exactly. We'll laugh if the Knicks land Donovan Mitchell before the Yankees get a trade done. I don't think the Knicks are landing Donovan Mitchell, but
neither do I.
That would be sad, though. That would be legit sad. I'd be like, what the fuck are we doing here? I would definitely. Which I'm not mistaken, the trade deadline's 2 weeks away, right? 3 weeks, maybe. It's August 1st or something. I don't know what specific day, but it's in August. So Luca will do that research. Sunil says another starter, Luis Castillo's on showcase tomorrow night versus us.
Yes, sir. We'll be at that game.
What a more sample set do you need to see, Catherine? Go out there and get the guys. And there's going to be lots of what we've talked about over and over again on this podcast is over and over that there's going to be severe competition because 2 names in the starting rotation in terms of starting pitchers that are out there, and that's it. That's right. How fierce the competition is going to be. It's like fucking Black Friday shopping. Everybody's going to go to grab the item. Now, obviously, in different situations, but it's all about giving up the best. And would I give up her? Somebody said last night, and Joe quoted it. Do you all watch the MILB? I don't do a good job of that. I should do a better job of that, Paul. But I do keep track with the minor leagues as best as possible. Yeah. I do support my minor leagues. I go to Cyclones games when they play the Renegades. August 2nd is a trade deadline. Okay, thank you, Sunil. But what was I going on? What was I? Oh, you got to give it the best stuff. And Joe was quoting somebody yesterday who said on Twitter, Peraza for Castillo. I think I'm down with it. What do you think? Is either you down with it or not?
Exactly.
Because Castillo is not a guy on a 1-year contract who's 30.
You have control over him.
You have control over him for a while now. It's like 2024, 25, something like that. And you could develop him. Matt Blake could develop him. And you will need him because it's not like you can take one of these guys and shove them in the back end of the rotation. Monty's a free agent in 24, and Tyen's a free agent, in the 23 year. And you're not re-signing Tyen because Tyen, despite the record, has been awful of late. And you don't want him in your starting rotation. Hell, you can't even trust him in the playoffs. And we're going to go over something we did last week. We're going to go over it again. What was I going to say? I'll actually start it over. I'll start it up, I should say, now, but I do want to read a couple of comments if I missed any. Trade Dominguez for a scrub. I would not. That's not very valuable. Trade Andujar for Castillo, keep Peraza. That's not going to get it done. That is not going to get it done. I understand what you're saying, Sunil, but the Reds are selling and they're giving up one of the most touted pitchers in all of baseball. And I'm not.
They're going to ask for prospects all the way.
They're going to ask for a shitload of prospects because this guy's been in trade talks for like 3 years now. So it's not some random ass dude, Clay Holmes, where they give up peanuts and Cracker Jack. That's not what they're going to give up. They're going to be giving up guys. So you may see a guy. I wouldn't say Waldichuk, maybe, but Peraza is likely, I guess. But the Yankees have to give that up, and it's not a 1-year rental deal. It's Castillo is a Yankee for a little while. I don't think Andrew Benintendi is going to be that expensive, but when the market gets hot, teams tend to overpay and give up prospects that they don't.
Maybe you give up Estevan. Obviously, you give up Estevan Florial and like Andujar or Pereira or whoever.
Yeah, for Benintendi, one of those has to get done. You just got to trade for. You got to trade those guys. How about that? Mitch Haniger, no, I don't think he's performed well this year. If it's not Benintendi, I'm not even, to be fair, the biggest fan of Ian Happ. But Ian Happ, Brian Reynolds, or Andrew Benintendi don't get outfield help at all. Laureano, maybe, but he's in like the 240, 230 range. I know Michael Taylor was in talks, but he's like a 9 hitter. I understand you could boost that bottom part of the lineup.
Yeah.
But you don't need a gazillion outfielders, and he is more versatile. I'll give him that. But if you're going to make a move for an outfielder, it has to be the big splash move, or else there is actually no impact of what that player's coming into. And I will say this. I don't know if you agree with me.
Okay.
We have yet to see a second half. There is a possible chance, if you're looking at what we're witnessing right now with the Yankees, that Luis Castillo will make a difference, but at the same time, it's going to be a bunch of pitchers pitching. It's not going to be like,
yeah, that's what you said last night.
Number one running back. I said that last night. I know. But there's not going to be an ace. It's just a bunch of pitchers pitching well. And that could possibly, do it in the playoffs. That could possibly not do the job.
Yeah, because it's kind of like a wide receiver core that has a bunch of like talents that have. I shouldn't say have the same skill set, but the guys that have the same amount of talent. There's not much
the job done.
Yeah, right. That there's not much of a drop off. There's not that number one guy, and then you start the tier down. It's like obviously Cole is the number one. There's no doubt about that. Then you got Severino, drop the tier. Tyone, drop a little bit. Montgomery, drop a little bit. Like there's not much of a drop off between like the 2 to 5 starters.
No, I agree. These last 3 games were pathetic, unacceptable losses that we should have won. Jared says, I agree with you. I still call it the DL kind of. Sometimes I'll say the IL and actually get used to it. It's just like Heinz Field is now some Acrisure Field. I don't care how to pronounce it. Andujar, Devi, and Heel for Castillo. I don't think that's going to do it because Andujar is a guy that's his goods were great a long time ago. That's not the case now. Deivi Garcia, I think they should have traded him a little earlier.
I don't think he has much value.
He doesn't have a lot of value, in my opinion. And of course, we're not the Reds. And he's coming off of a pretty significant injury. So it's not going to be the easiest to get rid of him if that's what they want to do. Now, if the Reds want to take him, I would give him up. I would give up Peraza. If they're going to be looking for a top 10 prospect when this guy has been in the talks for years, and his stock in terms of Luis Castillo hasn't necessarily diminished.
It hasn't really changed. Like he was a sought after pitcher like 3 years ago, and still is now.
Right, and now it's even more realistic. Now, we'll see if they actually give him up because they're a last place team. They're not going anywhere. They've been in purgatory for a while. So
no, they're just at the bottom. They're not even purgatory. They're worse than purgatory.
Well, they're in hell. Ramon Laureano, I like him as a player. I've liked him for a little bit, to be fair. However, with that being said, if you're planning on making a move for an outfielder, he has to make a difference automatically. Yeah. Someone like a Benintendi, someone like a Happ or a Reynolds. I just don't see that, honestly, with Laureano, and I don't think he fits as of right now.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what I think. In terms of, and I'm going to ask the chat this too. I think we should do this honestly every week or every 2 weeks because I think that would get repetitive, of course. Let's talk about what we talked about last week. We're going to play a little game. You guys talk about we're going to talk about the 5 pitchers in rotation right now. We all know the names. And we're going to see if our confidence levels have changed at all, up, down, or they stayed the same with these type of pitchers, and if you would be comfortable with them in the playoffs. So we'll start off with Garrett Cole. Luca, what do you think?
Where was that last week? I think it was at like a 3.5. I'm going to say still a 3 if I was at a 3 before. I don't like the start against the Red Sox. You know, he did pitch well against Reds. Obviously, the Reds are like terrible, but his stuff against the Red Sox was bad. You cannot allow Devers to overpower you like that. I understand Devers is an elite hitter in the league, but you got to top the best if you want to be the best.
I think I said 3 last week.
You should keep track. We should write this down next time.
Yeah. I think I'm going to say 3.5. 3.5 slightly. Not too much. Joseph Saginario says Cole 5. Jared says 2.5. I'll get to your question, Sunil, in a second. Yeah, I would say about 3.5. I mean, it's a slight bump.
Yeah,
but it's not too much to brag about. So there's that, and I think we should honestly add these up and total it out of 25. So let's just say 15 points out of 25. No, not 25. Wait, yeah, 25. Okay, I was mixing up my numbers there. We take, like, for instance, all these guys added up, divided by 25, so you have like a 70% confidence rate in this rotation. Whatever, we'll do that at the end.
Yeah.
Severino.
Where was I before? I think I was at like a 4, honestly. So like 3.5, trending upwards. I'm gonna go 4. He's gotten better every year in the playoffs.
Okay. I'm gonna go 4 as well. I understand he's still ramping up, still getting that playing time, doing whatever. But honestly, has he been one of the most consistent pitchers in this rotation? Because I know you automatically, when you say that, you think about Jordan Montgomery. But what about, did you like get up or something?
Yeah, I had to get up real quick.
Of course. Anyway, so I'll repeat my thing. Would you say Severino has been one of the more
consistent guys? Yes.
Consistent guys, yes.
Same with Jordan Montgomery, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know I got the microphone shadow. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do anything about it because if I move it away, you guys won't hear me as good. And if I move it closer, obviously the shadow's here. So we'll have to deal with it for today. Jared says 3.5 to 4 for Sevy. Joseph says 4. Studio says 2.5. Jared says, call me crazy, but I guess Cole's playoff performance in the playoffs last year affected. I don't blame you. Jared.
Exactly.
You know, he obviously has this playoff repertoire with the Astros, but that's a different team under a different microscope.
Same,
course,
same thing with the Yankees when he was the bubble year. Like nobody cared.
right. They were still expecting the guy. And, it's just he hasn't shown us $35 million in the big games. And yes, we haven't necessarily pitched in too many big games, but these blow ups away are very concerning. That's why, honestly, Yankee fans like you guys have a right to be concerned about Garrett Cole because he hasn't shown you too much against the good teams. Now, once again, had a great start against the Reds. Not taking away, anything from his repertoire, but you had to pay him $35 million for a reason. Beat the big teams, the bad teams, not the bad teams in terms of like bad teams, but like the big bad teams, like the Red Sox, the Astros. He's done well against the Astros, just hasn't done well against the Red Sox, and that's in our own division. So if he has trouble against the Red Sox and, he starts game one, for instance, where there's a possible 2-game, 3-game set, depending on, the outcome of a wild card. If the Red Sox are in there and they face Cole and only have to use 2 good pitchers, for that game one, I mean, Devers is still going to bring it. Xander's still going to bring it, even though that will be at Yankee Stadium most
JD
likely.
Martinez.
Martinez. I mean, we have to see. We have to see what he is at Yankee Stadium against good teams. But also a reason to be suspicious, and also not to be suspicious about those type of things because he's pitched well against the Rays at Yankee Stadium. But last time out against the Red Sox, at least that I remember, maybe I'm thinking way too far back, but opening day was a disaster. So
I think it was the last time you actually faced him. So yeah.
3D Block Turd says Severino seems like a folder in the playoffs. Any pressure, he folds. I think he's gotten better. 2017 was what, the first year he ever pitched in the playoffs?
Yeah, he didn't record an out in the first inning of the wild card.
I believe he got better.
Then the divisional series, he won his first game, game 4. 2017, game 2 and game 6. Game 6, he lost, but he gave up like 3 runs. That wasn't entirely his fault. The offense wasn't there. Game 2 was a no decision. He allowed 1 run. 2018, he lost the big game against the Red Sox. Game 3, 18 was it 16-1, I think it was. And wild card 2018, he pitched well but didn't get the win. 2019 wild card, pitched well. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't the wild card. It was game 3 of the divisional round against the Twins. And in the Astros series, I'm trying to remember when he pitched. I think it might have been game 2. Might have been game 2 and he lost. Not he lost, but the team lost. He didn't lose. So I'm going to double check that for you guys right now. So he's gotten better progressively.
Yeah, Jared says, to me, home field advantage is crucial for us in the playoffs, especially. They have to be the first seed. I'm telling you right now.
He lost game 3 against Garrett Cole, nonetheless.
Okay. They have to. Don't give me this bull crap. And, it's not you, Jared, of course. It's, of the Yankee fans that are just happy. Oh, we're in first place. Who gives a shit? Lots of teams that are in first place are terrible. But guess what, folks? If you have that same mindset of, oh, we're in first place, we don't need to worry about anything. Well, guess what? When we lose because we're not home field advantage, we're not the 1 seed, it's going to matter. And guess what? Whose fucking fault is that? That's your own. To be really frank about it, but with that being said, as I say in many podcasts, the Yankees have to go out there and they have to be the number 1 seed. You cannot let Houston surpass you at all.
You cannot let Houston get home field advantage.
It is of the Yankee fan mentality, and I believe it's a true Yankee fan mentality to be the best, to push this team to be the best team they could be, not just their own division, but the league and overall. So, we could be as I said, I'll end it off here. We could be the biggest, baddest team in the AL East, better than the Central. But if we don't beat the Astros even before we get into the playoffs, because guess what? Guess what we could say? Guess what could possibly happen? Now, remind me, Luca, how many games have we played against the Astros this season? We're going to play a total of 6, right? 7.
We were gonna have a doubleheader right after the All-Star break. So there's that. You have the
There's
4 games at
there.
home.
The
You have the
one
four.
game,
You
4
have
games at
one
home. That's the one in Houston,
seven.
and 2 in Houston. So it looks like 7 right now. And guess what? That's not an even number. And even if it was an even number, if they have a 4, actually, let me say this. If for some reason we tie in records and winning percentage, they will have the upper hand over us because they beat us. That's all I'm going to say. It all comes down to beating Houston even before you get into the playoffs, just with the record wise and
when you
getting
get into
guys
the
at the
playoffs.
deadline and what?
And when you get into the playoffs.
And when you get into the playoffs, exactly.
And also, you don't want to be this, fan. Again, everybody fans how they fan. Let's be real. But don't be this kid or be this fan, in my opinion, that celebrates the regular season. Oh, we beat them in the regular season, so we're going to beat them in the playoffs. That doesn't happen. Like that. That is like the stupidest argument ever. Oh, we beat them 4-3 in the regular season. That means we'll beat them in the playoffs. No, playoffs different animal.
3D, I'm very sorry, but that's a really bad idea. If Miles Straw ever came here, I think Yankee fans would strangle the fuck out of him. Okay? They would strangle him.
Oh, my God.
If he ever played in right field, misses a ball, plays in left field, misses a ball. I'm not saying center fielder.
Joe would jump on him.
People would jump on him. If he'd go back to the track and bitch about some fan, they would rip his hat off and beat the shit out of him. He's a pussy. He doesn't belong in New York. If the Yankees don't win the series against the Reds and the Red Sox, they're in deep trouble. I can't say that right now officially because we still have an All-Star break. To
me, we also have the Red Series. So if they lose the Red Series and the Red Sox series, you have a point.
No, you do. And where honestly Michael could have a point and be right about that is if Houston, the next 2 series, dominates against their opponents, and then we all of a sudden go on this bigger run in the second half, but Houston's already had so many games.
Yeah.
They can't go into the All-Star game limping in. But yes and no, once again.
You have that break, so you're kind of lucky. And maybe you just have the short-term memory and you forget about it.
No, of course, but at the same time, you have to watch what Houston's doing because we, once again, for the 90th time of this podcast, you can talk about, oh, the Yankees this, the Yankees that, first team, whatever, blah, blah, and this, that. Whatever. Got to be first. Got to be the first seed. That's how you beat them beforehand. You could beat them beforehand even by going out and getting the best guys and then matching up against them for part 3.
Yeah.
Jarrett's a good point, Luca. Look at us against the Angels in 2009. We struggled against them in the regular season, then we beat them in the playoffs. It's a different game. It's a different set of circumstances, a different pressure in the playoffs. That's seen across a lot of sports. But we've been carried away just a little bit, and I like having these conversations, and I wouldn't say carried away in a negative way, but Monty would be number 3. How do you feel about Monty in a playoff game right now? Now, he was the only starter that did well?
I'm going to go with like a 2.5, 3. What?
Was he the only starter that did well against Boston?
Yes.
I'm going to go with 3.5.
I'm going to go with like a 3 because he really hasn't had any like legit playoff experience.
Okay, so legit playoff experience, but he's pitched well so far in the regular season. Okay, so you got him. Ooh, now you move to Tyen.
2.
Honestly, 1.5.
I don't blame you.
I don't like him right now. Shouts to Alexander Gordon. What's going on, man?
What's going on, bro?
That like button, of course. I'm just sick of losing games we should win. Long hard Shepard says. Yeah.
That tends to happen, but the Reds, this is a game we should have won last night.
Yeah. Michael says the Yankees should have 65, 67 wins right now. But you got to be. But here's the thing, though, Mike. You got to be happy At least that they have a better record than the Astros right now. If they didn't have a better record than the Astros,
We're how
right
many
now,
games over 500 exactly? And we're first in the division. You know, let me pull up the standings right now.
no, I have them right here. We're 4 games better than them. Now, obviously, I would like it to be more, but 65, 67 wins. We're not
I don't think
win
you're going to
everything.
complain about that.
Yeah.
I don't think you're
No,
complaining
I'm good
about
with
the record.
61 wins, but at the end of the day, down the line, I will complain if it doesn't count towards beating Houston in all facets of baseball.
Right.
Jimmo is a turd, fellas. We got first world problems, the world not ending. No, of course. One loss doesn't change anything, but I lost track on the record at this point.
Michael Caputo says you can't lose to Reds. Yeah, but sometimes again, I'm not justifying losing. I'm not doing that. But this sometimes tends to happen. Like you're not like, why would you like? I get it. You're supposed to sweep the Reds, which you should. But you can't sit here and freak out and act like the world is ending after one loss.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree to the fullest extent. Jammo 1.5. Nestor Cortez.
Oh my God. Like 2. I have no confidence because he hasn't pitched in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I agree. 2.5. And he probably won't pitch in the playoffs, but 2.5.
He's going to be a bullpen guy, probably.
Alex says we just are in a slump as we should be. Teams are going to have slumps. And
this is like the first real slump we've had.
Yeah, this is the first sort of set of adversity in terms of a slump. So, it happens in sports, but at the same time, if we don't beat Houston, if we don't have a better record than them, then that's something to look back on.
Exactly.
Then, we could obviously say we are not spoiled. We just want the best for our team. That way we don't have to
exactly.
ALCS game 1. Cortez 2.5 says Joe. So I said 2. What did you say? Remind me.
I said 2.
2.5.
I have no confidence.
I'm going to add up my count.
Not that he's going to start.
Maybe I'm being more negative than most Yankee fans, but 2.5 for Garrett Cole. What did you say?
3.
I think I said 3.5 for him. What did you say for Sebi? Because obviously this brings up.
I said 4.
4 for Sebi. I didn't say 4.5. I think I said 4 too. Monty.
I said I said a 3 as well.
3. I'm gonna go 3.5, and then
Tyone
1.5. Okay,
2.
So that adds up. You can add up your numbers. I'll add up mine. Damn. Okay, so I gotta do math here, everyone. That's 2. They carry the 2 up here. 2 plus 2 equals 4 plus 3 equals 7 plus 3. That's 11 out of 25. So my confidence is really low, apparently, in this rotation. At least
I did the 5, and it's 15.5.
Damn, so you have more confidence than I do.
So that's a 62% grade.
I got a 44% grade.
F.
Maybe I think am I too hard on them?
No.
Well, even some of the best teams are going to go through slumps now and then. No, I agree. Is
That's
this
what
a
happens.
1 to 5 thing? Yeah, Alexander, we just we went through all of our I thought I heard water outside or something. But we went through all of the guys in the rotation, and in the playoffs, we rated how 1 to 5 we would be confident in them. Like I said, tie on 1.5. But most likely your rotation is looking like Cole, Severino, maybe a guy at the deadline, and then Monty if you need a 4. You're not going to Cortez. You're not going to Ty, and Cortez will come out of the bullpen. And he could give you length. Not too much length, but he can give you length. And I want to change the subject to go on this little rant here. And I actually said to you, I would do this when we opened up. Obviously, that wasn't the case. I'm glad I got carried away, but this is just a really stupid fucking article, everybody. Do not read it because it's so stupid that you might actually be injected with stupidity. You might lose brain cells. This is actually one of the stupidest things I think I've ever fucking read in my entire life. And trust me, I've read some really stupid shit. Hell, I spent fucking how many years in American education system? There you go. But no more politics, of course. Get Alcantara and Chisholm. That's a big ask, Mr. Santiago, but I appreciate you tuning in. What was I going to say? I don't know why, but I'm not feeling good anymore about DJ LeMahieu. Shout out to LI. To be fair, though, like he's getting better.
He's
However,
been better of late.
He's been better of late.
But just again, he needs that average up. Give me 280.
Yeah, give me 280, give me 290. Between that, I will take it. But what I'm talking about stupid articles, I'm talking about stupid shit, right? I don't care if this guy follows me. He can debate me. But this is like when
he could also tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah. When you call Yankee fans ignorant, I have a problem with that. Now, I have my reasoning behind calling some Yankee fans ignorant or this, that, and the other thing, whatever. I'm not joking, guys. I'm not joking. This is the title of the article. Yankee fans complaining about Isaiah Kiner from left need to get a clue. What the fuck kind of... Now, you could probably say, well, Alex, that could possibly be a clickbait title. No. Basically, he says in the article about the complaining, there's normal discourse, then there's toxic and delusional discourse, and it falls under that category, which this guy's a fucking idiot. I'm going to say that right now. I don't know if he's been writing for the
stats won't even back up his argument.
No, I don't know why the only thing that back up his argument is stopgap, and it's not even that, okay?
Just bring up fucking Oswald Peraza, please.
But later in the article, he goes, Yankee fans complaining about Isaiah Kiner Falefa are delusional.
That's fucking stupid.
Here's the problem I have with this entire piece of shit right here. Whether it be him himself.
Hold on a second. It's a fucked up piece of paper.
Yeah, he has a fucked up piece of paper online.
Also fucked up piece of fiction because it's not true.
Yeah, it is fiction. But guess what, people? We were told IKF is a good defender. He's not been a good defender at shortstop. 13 errors. He's had slapdick singles. Now, obviously, it was
singles hitter. That's it.
He singles. That's it. It was obviously up to the Yankee fan base has made the expectation. Not Brian Cashman, not Aaron Boone, not Hal Steinbrenner, but the Yankee fan base made the expectation a little bit on Twitter that this guy was going to hit 300. Did we ever believe that? No. Did I actually believe he could be a leadoff guy? Yes. Was I stupid for that? Was I stupid for thinking that? Of course I was. And it works in MLB The Show.
Just so you know, everybody, he has IKF leading off in his MLB The Show.
It actually works very well. He's hitting in like the 300s, like 360. I'm not even lying.
360 in how many games?
I want to say leading into May.
Okay, that'll die down eventually.
Okay.
But yeah, it's calling a Yankee fans delusional for criticizing IKF. And
we were told.
First of all, fourth worst fielding percentage among shortstops in all of baseball. And this guy was supposed to be a savant at shortstop. He's not been that. Call Peraza, you'll get better fielding. Get Torres to shortstop, you'll get better fielding. I'm not kidding.
No, it's guess who has the fourth most hits on the team? But that article is half true, not all true. Well, tell me, in your opinion, Alex,
break down how many hits of kind of Falefas or actual extra base hits are diverse. All of them are singles, damn it.
Right. He says, guess who has the fourth most hits on the team? I think he's talking about IKF. But here's the thing, though.
Slow pitch, soft. It's easy.
It's not hold on, Luca. It's not even that. It's not even that. What they told us is that IKF is a savant defender. He's very good at his craft at shortstop. That's what they told us. It's not bad for Yankee fans to sit here and react to that. Now, I think you're talking about the hitting. That's obviously, we've seen over the course of his career, he hits in the 260s, but they're all singles. Okay, I could see your point there. But the fact that Gleyber Torres could have been better as a shortstop where he had less errors, I guess, at this point in the season last year than IKF does this year, I mean, to be honest and fair with you guys, that trade seems like a total loss. And now they have to go out and get some, guys that will actually be better, or they call it Peraza. But what makes it worse is that they don't admit their mistake. He's shaky defensively, but at the same time, he makes some crucial plays. I understand where you're coming from. Routine plays are routine plays, but 13 errors on the stat sheet looks really bad. And combine that, and I understand for the 20th time that he's not necessarily the most.
He's actually supposed to be a third baseman.
Okay, yes. But I know he's not necessarily the most efficient hitter in all of baseball. I understand that. But you take the 13 errors and then you combine that with what he gives you. Is that really a fit for what the Yankees have in store? Where you could take a chance on a Peraza or a Volpe and probably get a higher ceiling and better results in a few years. Now, of course, I've been the advocate of trade Peraza if you get a chance, because I don't know how much they love this guy. Get him for Castillo, get him for Benintendi, get him for fucking somebody. Now, obviously not a piece of trash. However, with that being the case, of course, now I don't remember where I was going with this.
Let me just say, IKF is made for slow pitch softball.
That's okay. Okay, that's a point to be made. Shout outs to Anthony Medina. What's going on?
Come on, bro.
He's not Cal Ripken, but we don't need him to be. No, I understand. Listen, Alex, I get your point. But what I'm saying is he was supposed to be a good defender, at least better than Torres, and he hasn't been. And has it cost us games? No. Are there times where he does make the routine plays? Yes. But it's not worked out where we have this sting other than outfield, relief pitching, and starting pitching that, oh shit, this guy may not be our answer at shortstop. Where you could have saved your assets thinking big picture. In that trade, you could have DFA'd Sanchez, you could have kept Urshela, and then signed Correa or did whatever. And I don't want to go back on the offseason because we've talked a lot about that. But I'm just saying, and this guy coming out here on this little article here that probably 20% of the fan base reads and saying, oh, well, this, that, and the other thing, converted to a full-time shortstop. You know what? No. You're not going to sit here and call the Yankee fans idiots, call them ignorant, I'm
sorry to interrupt. You're just getting people not to read your article.
Or read the article and never read one again.
Right.
So, I don't understand. This guy wants to, and even some people that I don't like on Twitter, they are quote tweet. Their tweets are put in this article, and they're actually making sense while the guy is trying to argue against those tweets. So personally, I don't understand what crawled up his ass and fucking died. Luca, you have any thoughts on that? Any of that?
It's just a stupid article written.
Do we have anything else on the docket?
Let's go over the All-Star starters real quick, both American League and National League. So I have the ballot up. Well, not the ballot, the lineups. So this is the American League. Starting at catcher is Alejandro Kirk. Playing first base is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I think that's complete bullshit.
Popularity vote.
Ty France should have got in, but Ty France is injured. Second base, Jose Altuve.
Rizzo also could have got in. But
right. Third base, Rafael Devers having an excellent season. Shortstop, Tim Anderson. Fuck you. Outfielder, Aaron Judge. Outfielder, Mike Trout. Outfielder, Giancarlo Stanton. And DH, none other than the baseball kiss ass of Shohei Ohtani. Should have been your Don Alvarez, but Alvarez is also injured.
Yeah.
He's not the DH. Alvarez is not the starting DH because of injury. It's because Shohei Ohtani had higher votes than him. It's a fucking popularity contest. Legacy selection is Miguel Cabrera. The reserves, Jose Trevino for the Yankees at catcher. First base, Luis Arias. Second baseman, Andres Jimenez from the Indians.
I thought Trevino should have been a starter, by the way, but obviously the fan voting. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, that's what happens when the Jays are trash. Third base, Jose Ramirez. Shortstop, Xander Bogaerts. Outfielder, Byron Buxton. Outfielder, Kyle Tucker. Outfielder, George Springer. Outfielder, Andrew Benintendi. Outfielder, Julio Rodriguez, top prospect for the Mariners. JD Martinez takes over as DH for Yordan Alvarez, who is actually a reserve.
Involuntary
Starting
commitment.
pitchers, you got Shane McClanahan, who's probably the front runner for AL Cy Young. You got Justin Verlander following him. Alek Manoah, Nestor Cortez, Garrett Cole. Shohei Ohtani is a starting pitcher, because why not? Martin Perez. I'm sorry, I'm reading that right. Martin Perez.
He's having a really good year.
Really? I'm just shocked.
Actually, which might be one of your favorite words. It might be an anomaly.
Paul Blackburn, Oakland A's starting pitcher, and Framber Valdez. Relievers, Clay Holmes, Emmanuel Clase, Jorge Lopez, and Gregory Soto. Now to the National League. Wilson Contreras, the starting catcher. Go ahead.
Who was the backup shortstop?
Xander Bogaerts.
Okay, very good. By the way, Martin Perez, 7-2, 2.72 ERA, 17 games started, 86 strikeouts, 106 innings pitched, and an opposing batting average of 246.
Okay. First baseman Paul Goldschmidt, second base Jazz Chisholm, third base Manny Machado, shortstop Trey Turner, outfielders Ronald Acuna, Jock Peterson, and Mookie Betts. Designated hitter was once Bryce Harper. I don't know who the designated hitter is now. It's actually going to be William Contreras, Wilson Contreras' brother. So, reserves, Travis d'Arnaud for the Braves. Let me also say that Albert Pujols is the legacy selection. I actually kind of like that. Do you? The legacy selections?
I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad.
Somebody says, I love Albert Pujols, great career. He shouldn't be in the All-Star game. He shouldn't be in the home run derby.
There's a lot of guys that you could pick on like that.
It's a legacy selection, though.
I'll say this as well. Like, should Derek Jeter have been an All-Star in 2014?
I don't think so.
Exactly. So he was more like a legacy selection. I don't have a problem with that. I think that's one of the more
innovative ideas.
Now, home run derby, but I get the point in terms of, just a legend all-star game.
It would be fun to see Albert Pujols win it, the home run derby. I don't know if he's won it before. He probably has. So let me do a quick look up on that before I get back to the pitching aspect. So Pujols, let's see, in his career, RBI leader, home run leader, no home run derby on his list. He's probably hitting the home run derby, but just hasn't won it. First base, Pete Alonso for the National Leagues. First base, also another first baseman, CJ Cron for the Rockies. Second baseman, Jeff McNeil for the Mets. Nolan Arenado at third for the Cardinals. Shortstop, Dansby Swanson. Outfielders, Kyle Schwarber, Ian Happ, Juan Soto, and Starling Marte. In reserves, obviously, DH Garrett Cooper. Moving to the starting pitching. Carlos Rodon was just recently added. Clayton Kershaw, Luis Castillo, Tony Gonsolin, Max Fried, Joe Musgrove, Corbin Burns, and Cindy Alcantara. Relievers, I believe Josh Hader was also added as well, or at least he's not. I don't know. There's a little star next to a name, so I don't know what that means. Josh Hader, Edwin Diaz, Ryan Helsley, David Bednar, Pittsburgh Pirates, and get ready for this one, Joe Mantiply.
There's no way he's an all-star.
He's an all-star. He's an all-star reserve from the Arizona Diamondbacks. By the way, the little star says that it denotes a player who's inactive due to injury or not to play. So let me look up Joe Mantiply's stats.
1-2, 2.08 ERA, 34 strikeouts.
How many games has he pitched? Let's be realistic.
36.
Damn.
Opposing average of 237. I'm shocked.
I'm amazed. So somebody said that Freddie Freeman was a snub. He's not really had the power this year.
No, neither has Matt Olson.
I'm surprised in that because we were lobbying for that to happen.
Josh Hader backed out, apparently, according to Michael Caputo. Is that true? I knew there was something on that. Can you verify that maybe? Are you alive? Yeah, you're on mute though.
Josh Hader to miss the All-Star game. It doesn't say that
Family
he backed out
responsibilities. That's all I say.
due to
That's all I
family
see.
responsibilities. So it's kind of a personal decision.
Okay. All right. So I won't rip him too much there.
So,
But
Sporting News puts Taylor Ward, Dylan Cease as two snubs. Kevin Gosman. Gosman's injured. So
Osman's injured. I'm not gonna rattle too much on that.
Michael King,
No. Michael King shouldn't have made it.
Josh Bell,
I don't feel like I feel like he's having a good year, but it's not an all-star year. Let me take a
Brandon
look.
Drury,
Jury's having a good year. Okay,
Austin
Josh Bell's
Riley.
hitting 304, 12 home runs, 47 RBIs. I think he could potentially be in stub. You said Austin Riley. Let's take a look at his
Yes.
stats. Riley, 24 home runs, 57 RBIs, 283. Yeah, snub.
Zach Wheeler.
See, Zach Wheeler, real quick, is also having a very good season. Let's take a look at that. Zach Wheeler, 8-4, 2.46 ERA, 95 innings, 104 strikeouts, 16 games started, and a opposing average of 223. Okay.
LA Yankee King says the MLB should copy the NBA and have the best players from the past years, World Series champions and losers, be captains and big these teams. Sorry, I hate that idea. I hate that idea. You know how they do Team LeBron and Team Giannis? That's what he's suggesting.
Oh, no.
And Team
Leave
Barkley. I
National
hate that.
League and American League.
First of all, let me just say this. The MLB All-Star Game is the best All-Star Game out of any sports league. I don't care whether it's the NBA, the NFL, the Pro Bowl sucks. The NBA All-Star Game sucks. They don't care. They just shoot threes. That's it. And they hog the ball. That's it. So the MLB All-Star Game, they take it seriously, and I give them a ton of credit for that.
All right.
Sure, there's a ton of cool moments like Torrey Hunter robbing Barry Bonds and Nelson Cruz taking a picture next to Joe West, but that's still fun. They still play within the game.
Luca's very mad right now. But Luca, you have anything else to add? Final thoughts if you don't have anything to add.
It was awesome, talking Twinbill. Obviously, it's a little short today. Not a lot of extreme content. We're coming off the Reds game. We'll be live tonight for Game Season Live. All three of us, me, Alex, and Joe. We obviously recap the Red Sox series, All-Star game as well. Revealing the starters, looking who was snubbed or not. But overall, good time. Can't wait for next week. Are we going? No, are we going to be live? We're going to be live next week, right? It's probably going to be a night stream, right? Because All-Star, what am I saying? The All-Star break is in session when it comes next week.
Yeah. So there won't be any games, which means we'll be live at night. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe to all that good stuff. Be sure to turn on that notification button on. 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. We'll be in Somerset, July 24th. And it's not NYY News TV Day, it's Podcasters Day. So we'll be there getting some media access. And if you're in the Jersey area, New York area, and you're willing to come down, tickets are probably cheap as hell, like $15 a pop. So come down. And we'll be there. So you get to hang with us probably. It's not going to be like NYY News TV Day, but also get a chance to hang out, say hello, do all that good stuff. And I think that's it. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Peace out, guys. See you later, and we will see you next time.